Mm, Afternoon, Rue again. Yeah, I'm not even going to say that I don't know what to talk about this time because I suppose I'm a bit more prepared. First off, I just want to draw your attention to the Facebook Marcus Tyron Young. Marcus Young on YouTube as well if you want to watch some more of my videos. I've got my own group page, I would put it, rather than like a faith page. It's not belonging to any religion or not a cult or just anything like that way inclined. It's just people talking about basically their personal relationships with God and how they interact and stuff like that. But anyway, let's get down to basics. How close is your relationship with God? A lot of people I've met along the way, there's this thing about, oh, I'm reading my Bible, or I'm reading my Torah, or I'm reading my Quran, and I'm not getting putting in the effort, and breaking me back. But it's almost like God's not reciprocating. I'm not getting word off Him. I'm not getting signs. I'm not getting images. I don't know what people really like expect God to do. How do you put this? Like a lot of people, because God's, they want the big smoke, the mirrors, and they want everybody to almost like, oh, well, God's watching him. He favours him. Look at what he's doing. Oh, so this must be the right way. They're not following faith because they want that connection. It's almost like, you know, when you say like if you love a woman, and a lot of people will say, oh, and things aren't going good, and she can even treat you like crap or whatever. You still bend over backwards. You'll still make yourself look like a mug for that person. You'll still chase them over hell or high water. You'll be in, out. You'll just basically do anything, not because, well, because you want that person to love you. Saying you don't care how any other person sees you. You don't care how they interact with you. It's true love. Do you get what I mean? It's not. You're not doing it for any reward or for any merit. It's because you want to get closer to that person. Well, a lot of people, I sound like I'm condemning people, but let me find a way to say this. Please let me find a way to say this. Right. A lot of people say like if the Lord would speak to me, if I'm doing something, say if the Lord would say to me, oh, Marcus, I only want you to eat fruit and vegetables for 2 weeks and you'll receive a blessing. And I've received the blessing and I go down the street and I say to my friend, the Lord spoke to me, he gave me this word, eat your fruit and vegetables for the week and you receive the blessing. And I did it. And look at me, and then I open a suitcase, I don't know, just for word's sake, and then say, oh, there was £1 million in it. Now, the majority of people, and this is something I fell into myself as well, majority of people would have followed the same pattern then. Oh, he's done this, so if I eat fruit and veg for 2 weeks, I also will get the same miracle, the same reward. Do you get what I mean? But we have to remember as well, people's lives are different. Where you're at and where somebody else at could be worlds apart. They may need that £1 million. God may have sent him that message so for a greater sense of faith, or he may send you a different message for strength or for wisdom. Just because somebody is doing something and they get that message of God doesn't necessarily mean that's where you need to be in your faith. Yeah, a lot of people are watching everybody else or doing deeds because they think that, oh, if I do this, because it says, oh, a good deed, I'll do this and I'll get rewarded for it. It's like, there will be no reward for that because you're doing the deed not from a place of love. You're doing it because it's almost like you feel obligated. Oh, if I don't do this, then I'm going to be smited. Or if I don't do this, people are going to look down upon me. Now with me, it's not about smart. With me, how to put it, So if I'm walking down the street and I've got £20 in my pocket, and God says to me, I could not have nothing in the cupboards, or this is something I've been personally battling with for the last couple of weeks. And say if I walk, I don't know, I walk past somewhere, and you'll say to me, right, so for instance, right, this is going to be really weird. About 2-3 days ago, somebody came to the house, took something that was mine, and it was severely annoyed me. Let's put it that way. But I didn't cuss out. I didn't go mad and yeah, the whole day it was burning me. And I was saying to God, like, it's such a small thing. Like, I had like the money in my pocket to replace it. So why am I so bothered about such a small thing? I thought, is it the principle? Is it because I'm being offended, or it's almost like? And I thought, no, because I know better than this now. I know. Do you know what I mean? And then I just thought. Then it finally clicked to me. The reason I was offended, it wasn't because of the act. I was offended of how someone had perceived me to be a target. It wasn't. My eye was off the ball. I wasn't interacting with God anymore. It wasn't like, oh yeah, this has been done to me. I'll forgive them. Sorry, not forgive me. I'll forgive them, and I'll receive a blessing for it. It was more now. Do you know what I mean? Like, oh, they think I'm a victim. So then it became I forgot my relationship with God, and I cared more about my relationship with this other person, how they perceived me. So the same as a lot of people like moralism. Like, a lot of people are doing good works not because it's in their nature, or because they've got a nice heart, or because they want to be nice to you. They're doing it because they want everybody to have a song and dance and say, oh, he's such a nice bloke, or she's a nice lady, or they think that, oh, God will look down upon them and say, oh, look, he's given his last the last bit of his money out of his pocket to do a good deed, but it doesn't quite work like that. I got a bit sidetracked from the story. Anyway, it clicked to me that it was a double barrel story he taught me anyway. Like, I was caring too much about what other people thought about faith, and yeah, it wasn't good for me. Anyway, I had like £20 left in my pocket. Well, a bit more than £20, but that £20 was like the cornerstone of it, if you know what I mean. And I was walking up the street, and before I even got about half a mile away from this Chinese shop, God said to me, I want you to go into that shop and buy Chinese for you and that person, for the £20. And obviously my immediate reaction was like, why am I going to give this person, why am I going to buy them Chinese, like, buy Chinese for myself, do you know what I mean? I wouldn't even normally spend a tenner on myself for a Chinese. I'm quite hand over fist when it comes to my money. I think I'll probably spend about £3-4, and even then feel a bit of a glutton for it. But anyway, God, he said to me, I want you to do this. And as I'm walking home, after I brought that to Chinese, he said to me, oh, the person that you brought this for, saying like, well, first off, he said, like, basically contact the person, ask them if they're going to be like back there. So I contacted him and said, are you coming home? Didn't hear off him for hours. So I'm walking back to Chinese. He's saying to me, oh, they're not going to eat the Chinese, So then I come back in, plated up my half. So it's still because it's for two people, remember. Saved the other half and I put it in the oven. Got up anyway. This was at my half. Thought I'll leave it in there for when they came back. They came back in, didn't disturb the food for some reason. So I got up in the morning, came downstairs, I seen the person because I was going out on my mission anyway, and I was still thinking in my head, well, why has he made me buy this food? Half of me was thinking when I came downstairs that the food would have already been eaten. Do you get what I mean? He would have seen the food and thought, oh yeah, he saved it for me, and that would be the story over. It's like keep giving, even though I had nothing left in my reserves. Almost that was the blessing. But then it was that was the teaching there. I was doing that yet again for somebody else to for him to think, oh, I stole off him, and he's still giving me more and more and more. Oh, what a great guy he was. He was doing it. Oh, sorry, I was doing it subconsciously to still get validation of that person. So I've already been told once, like, you're angry because you want validation of this person, you want validation of a man. Then second time, God said to me, buy this Chinese, and still because of my pride and my blindness, I thought it was, oh yeah, I'm giving generous, oh look, what a nice guy I am. But then yet again it was, you're only doing this because subconsciously you want this person to think that you're such a good person, do you know what I mean? So anyway, said to the person, oh, do you want, yeah, the Chinese is here. Anyway, I've gone about my business. As I'm walking out the door, they'd say to me, oh, you know he's not going to eat that Chinese, don't you? Part of me is thinking, so why have you made me spend my last money, like, on food that he's not going to eat? By the time I get back, it's not going to be fresh, so I can't eat it. So I started walking down the street and I was thinking, like, why have you made me give somebody something that they one, they won't appreciate, two, they don't deserve, and three, like, they'll put 9 times out of 10, he probably won't even realise what a battle it has been for me to give him the food in the first place, or to look upon him with favour after he's almost offended me, do you know what I mean? And then as I'm walking down the street, the penny drops. It's grace, isn't it? He's teaching me grace. How many times it's almost like I had a thought, how many times has God gave me stuff that I didn't deserve? How many times has he given me blessings? Has he brought, almost like the Chinese food, how many times has he prepared me a banquet for only for me not to eat and just discard it as it was just waste, or just not valuing, do you know what I mean? So, yeah, my message to you today is, just because you're getting pushed in a certain direction and you might not understand why, or you may be going through a storm, or you may be going through turbulence and you may be thinking, why? This isn't helping me, I'm saying to you, just know that he'll never put you in a situation where there's nothing to learn from it. He'll never abandon you, he'll never put you to hurt, or it's like I said in one of my other videos, if God, say that if you was a Jewish man or Muslim or whatever, and God turned around to you and he said to you, oh, yeah, here's a bacon sandwich, I want you to eat this bacon sandwich. And then your friend would say to you, oh, no, you can't eat bacon, It's written in our laws, and listed you all the laws and all, like, in the Bible, Quran, whatever, saying why you shouldn't eat pork. But God himself appeared in front of you and said, oh, here's this pork sandwich. Would you then think, oh, it's a test, God's trying to trick me, or would you eat the sandwich? Seems like a bit of a random question, doesn't it? Well, let me put it this way. Yes, God tests us from time to time, but he never tricks you. It's a difference. A trick is where you deliberately deceive somebody, go out your way, whereas a test is down to them. Do you get what I mean? Someone who deceives somebody is like an illusionist. The left hand while you should be watching the right. Whereas God won't. God will present both hands in front of you and say, make your choice. That's the difference between a test and being tricked. And if you really know God and you really trust God, then you should know that God will never trick you. God will never cause you to fail or to be put down. So when people say, oh yeah, it may be a demon preserving themselves as light or jinn or a spirit or whatever they want to call it. Just know this, that if you trust your God and you know that your God protects you, would a demon be able to, if you had that connection and that trust in God, would a demon be able to get that close to you to even tempt you in the first place? Would God allow him? If God loves you that much and you trust God that much, then before anything bad can come close to you, would it not be struck down? I can't see how you can say, oh yes, I trust God with all my heart. He loves me unconditionally. But yet when God would say something to you, you'd be like, oh, well, I don't know, you might be tricking me. It's like, well, if you trust me completely and you know that I love you, then there is no room for manoeuvrability, if you get what I mean. And same way, like when people are going through storms and all that, they say, oh yeah, God's angry with me, he wants to do this to me, he wants to do that to me. No, it's a blessing. It's just the way our minds are set up. We can't understand God. We like to pretend that we're all holding in now and we know the whole world, but really and truly, when it comes down to it, there's certain things that God knows that we will never know. You know what I mean? We are not creators. We are the created. You know what I mean? It's, how to put it? It's like Jack and the Beanstalk. You know what I mean? Jack doesn't know how the beans. Well, he knows how the beans work, kind of, but he doesn't understand why the beans work. Why, when they grew the beanstalk and they went up there and the giant and the whole realm and that, he witnesses it, but he doesn't understand it. To him, he's just the small. He's little Jack, isn't he? You know what I mean? He climbs and climbs and climbs and climbs up, and that's, I'd have to put it, he's trying to get to the golden egg and the goose, and obviously I know how the story ends in fairy tales and stuff like that. Obviously they need a happy ending. We all know what would happen really if we tried to climb up that beanstalk and tried to take that golden egg. But my point is, like, when God gives you trials, when God gives you a test, when God seems to be like he's pushing you, and don't dig your feet in the sand. Don't try and look at it from the mindset of a man, because this has come from God, do you know what I mean? Don't look at it and think, well, why is he doing this? Because your head will turn left and right. The same way, like if you read a holy book, don't look at it from the terms of a man. Just say to like, God, look, show me what you want to do, or if you get put in the storm, embrace the storm, power through it, because you know, if God puts you there, everything that you're put in for a reason. So if you get through it, it's to make you a better person, or many blessings. I know times get hard and they get tough, but don't be like the person like me, like the other day in the Chinese, like walking up the street and that the other day with the Chinese, thinking, why am I giving this person this? Why am I? Because it took me 2 days to figure it out, but really and truly, he was almost like two birds with one stone. That person then probably went away from it thinking, well, why is this guy being extra nice to me? It doesn't fit in. It's not normal character. And then his heart is being opened up to it. And I'm also learning grace from God. So the two of us are learning a lesson. That's the magic of God, you know what I mean? Everybody just thinks that God is just using them. It's like God can use one person to teach 50 lessons. All it takes is that one act. Do you know what I mean? That's what I mean. I'm doing this. It's because we're like, not even that. We're like tinier than that on the spectrum of all things. But God has got a way of lifting the smallest things to make the biggest change. So when you're sitting there, you're thinking, if I did this, it ain't really going to make that big effect. It's dominoes effect. You're not one domino, then another falls, and another falls, and another falls, and another falls. Before you know it, you've got, I don't even know how many dominoes in a pack. More of a cards man. No, but do you know what I mean? So, yeah, whenever you're going through bad times, tribulation, strife, struggle, or he asks you to do something that pushes you out your personal barriers or your personal safety ground, I just ask you just to take that leap of faith, trust in God, and you will be rewarded. And trust me, the things that you will learn are more blessings than money, reputation, house, things like that. These things are all material. These things can come and go. You know what I mean? If God made this world, do you not think you can put an extra 20 quid back in my pocket, or an extra roof over my head, or a brand new BMW on the drive? Where does it all come from? Does it not come from him? But now, let me ask you this. How many of the material things could you swap for lessons from God? Because for me, I wish I could revert. Wish I could give away my clothes, my TV, my house, and revert back to the Adam and Eve existence. You know what I mean? Where everything was just basic, everything was plain, because materialism and moralism hadn't took over. There wasn't no struggle. They didn't think, oh, if I gave this person this, there's not going to be enough for me. Or, that's what I mean. God is a gift of abundance, so don't lose your sight. I guess I'm getting a bit distracted here, but what I'm trying to say is, trust in God and He'll always provide. Even if times get good or bad or ugly, just trust in Him and know that He loves you and it's never to spite you, never to hurt you, but to let you grow as a person, as an individual. Anyway, I hope you liked my video, and just a quick reminder again, it's Marcus Tyrone Young on Facebook, or Divine Messages is the group. You can also find me on YouTube. I'm not quite sure. This is really bad advertising, isn't it? But yeah, I will. In my next video, I'll find out the YouTube proper name. But you can just search my name, Marcus Young, on YouTube, and I'm sure it'll come up. But anyway, have a nice day. Goodbye.